We are now on to part 6 of this grand series.
I love the chase and the hunt, and I set the pace when I'm running. I always take what I want and I always give it 100. Don't need a bank, no I'm funded. Play the game like it's nothing. I'm always thankful for something. Don't take for granted, stay humble. Now wake up! It's time to look at the enemy. Look in the mirror if he is no friend to me.
Hello everyone and welcome back to Pitch This here on the MrEliMac channel. I'm your host MrEliMac and we are back with the fan casting series of What If the MCU Was the DCCU, the grand series I did all the way back in 2022 with phases 1, 2, 3, and 4 of the MCU and just making them a little DC. And we are here with the fan casting. We are on part 6, and in this video, I'm going to be revealing the fan cast of Justice League, Panic in the Sky, and The Atom. Now, again, for some of these characters, we've already, or at least I have already done the reveal of who I am casting in these roles. I will say who is in the film, but if they've already been cast, I'm not going to mention them. I will only mention specific fan castings again if there is a major character design change. For example, whenever I was doing Dick Grayson in the prior Batman movies, in the first one he was just Dick Grayson, in the second one I wanted to show you, give you an idea of sort of what his Robin costume would look like, and then in Batman 3, with Dick Grayson in it, I wanted to give you an idea of what his Nightwing costume looks like. I wanted to give you an idea of what this character looked like specifically. And so now we are on to part 6, and I mentioned that because there will be a character that will be brought up again in Panic in the Sky. But with all that out of the way, please be sure to hit the like button and subscribe to the channel. That way you can be up to date with all the videos I have here on the channel. Also hit the notification bell. That way you can be notified whenever a new video like this comes your way. Now, Justice League, Panic in the Sky. The returning characters from the prior Justice League movies would be Batman, Wonder Woman, Flash, Superman, Green Lantern, Aquaman, and Martian Manhunter. The core 7 would be returning in the film, and we would have other characters appearing as supporting characters, mainly like Supergirl and Steel and Alfred. They would be returning in this film from their prior films, to sort of be supporting characters in this film, maybe pop in near the end, sort of like how in Avengers Age of Ultron, War Machine and Falcon are in the film mainly as supporting character cameos, and then War Machine came in near the end and helped out the Avengers with the Ultron problem. And this would be very much similar ideas where Supergirl and Steel near the end would very much help out with the big bad of the film. And I want to sort of mention who the big bad is. If you saw the thumbnail, you sort of get an idea of what sort of comic this is inspired on, the Superman Panic in the Sky series, which had Brainiac as the main antagonist. And I'm going to be showing you the new design of Brainiac right over here. And he is very much more of the traditional, like, 2008 Jeff Johns Superman Brainiac run. He looks more like that because this is sort of the main version of Brainiac that wasn't in the Superman movie. The version in the Superman movie was someone that was more of a drone and sort of trying to make himself seem more human. This one, we're actually going to see the full scope of Brainiac in his entirety, and this is sort of where we get the more traditional Brainiac storyline of him trying to take a bottled city and try to destroy Earth because of that, while taking away that city, most likely Metropolis. And very much we'll have stuff in this film that hints at other evil stuff, like for example in Age of Ultron, where the Justice League fought off Hydra at the very beginning. We would get something similar to that, but that time it would be Cobra. I'm not going to be mentioning who I'm casting at all those characters because those characters are very ancillary and very small, have a very small role to the grander scope of this film. However, again, Brainiac would be reprised by Ralph Fiennes. Ralph Fiennes still very much playing Brainiac in this film, very much serving as the voice and the physical embodiment of Brainiac. He would just now have this newer design to give a look at, oh no, this is what Brainiac actually looks like. So yeah, that is Brainiac. Now it's time for the actual newer characters in the film. 3 of them will be added to our grand Justice League roster. The other 2 are very much just supporting roles that would be assisting in the film in sort of the way that, the best way I can describe it is Stellan Skarsgård's character in Avengers Age of Ultron. And very much Aquaman would be taking the Thor role of going off and trying to learn more about what is happening, and because he had a guess that the Atlanteans had prior knowledge of this, because in my little universe, in my little mind, the Atlanteans had access to a grander scope of the universe than just how he was, how they were just alone on Earth. Anyway, going over to the new characters, the first new character is Oliver Queen, Green Arrow. Green Arrow would very much be introduced in this film, trying to stop some stuff that is happening in Star City, because the Justice League would be led to Star City because some of the Brainiac drones would be in Star City, so they would be going there to sort of assist in all that, while also Green Arrow is trying to fight off the heroes, or fight off the Brainiac drones of Star City. And this version of Green Arrow would sort of be newer. Like, I would say by the time we meet him, he had only been doing this for a few months, or maybe even a year, probably a few months, and he'd be working together with Black Canary, who will also be in this film. But for Green Arrow, I cast Garrett Hedlund. I really think Garrett Hedlund would do a really good job playing a younger Green Arrow, playing a Green Arrow that is still trying to gather himself, trying to get used to being a hero, but also at the same time, I think Garrett Hedlund can do a really great job playing the sort of swashbuckling, roguish type of character that Oliver Queen is, because Oliver Queen is a sort of lighthearted character. By lighthearted, I mean he is a jokey character. He does make jokes, he quips quite a bit, and I think Garrett Hedlund could do a really good job at playing that sort of quippy character, because even if you look at Tron Legacy, he does have an instance to be a little bit more quippy, and I think that Garrett Hedlund could do a really good job of this. In fact, I would even go as far as to say he's clean shaven in this film, similar to how when Green Arrow first debuted, he was clean shaven, and then just as the universe progresses, that's when he starts getting the goatee and the little Robin Hood-esque facial hair. So Garrett Hedlund for Green Arrow. And as I mentioned, Black Canary, Dinah Lance's Black Canary, is also in this film, someone that is very much working with Green Arrow in Star City, someone that will in the future explore more of her backstory, but in this instance she is just someone that is working with Oliver, trying to save the people of Star City and destroy these Brainiac drones. And for Black Canary, I cast Teresa Palmer. Teresa Palmer was someone I was first introduced to in I Am Number 4, and I think she did a really good job in I Am Number 4, but also, like, I've seen more of her films, and I think she would do a really great job as Black Canary. She seems like someone that could very much step into this role of being a hero and being someone that could easily carry herself as a strong female character, and someone that can hold her own against Garrett Hedlund, because those two would be having a rapport with each other. So I think those two would have great chemistry together, and I think Teresa Palmer would do a really great job as Black Canary. Next up is the other new member of the Justice League, and in the original Avengers, Vision was introduced in this film, so I wanted to add my own android, and that is Red Tornado. This version of Red Tornado would actually have a grander history in the DCU, because, again, I mentioned how my version of Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. Star Labs would be canon to this grander universe and fully, be more integrated, and that's because in specifically season 1, Red Tornado would be appearing in that show, and he would be one of the first TV characters that would carry over into the movie universe. And for Red Tornado, I cast someone that was sort of outside of the box, and I think something that would be fun to have, someone who would be fun to have playing this sort of outside of the box character, and someone that could adapt their acting style and their comedy to Red Tornado. And I cast Keegan-Michael Key. Keegan-Michael Key is a very funny actor. He's a very musically inclined actor as well, and I think he would be able to play someone who is very much, I'm not used to being around heroes, I'm not used to being around humans, I'm not used to all of this yet, but I do want to try to help people, and that's very much what his role is. He is helping out the Justice League fight off Brainiac, and he would eventually join the Justice League, and I think Keegan-Michael Key could do a really great job playing the seriousness that Red Tornado would need, but also playing the zaniness that the character would also have, because I think I would portray Red Tornado as being like, hey, I'm a robot in this instance. I'm a robot that has emotions, sort of, so this is a little weird, but at the same time, with this, I understand we need to be a little serious at this moment. So I think Keegan-Michael Key could do a really great job as Red Tornado. Next up are the final two castings, final two new additions to the DCU, which are the Aquaman supporting characters that would be in this film to assist in the supporting roles. The first one being Mera. Mera is very much someone that a lot of people have interesting thoughts on, mainly because of the most previous Aquaman movies, because of who was originally cast in her role. So for when I was casting her, I was looking for someone that could believably play Mera and play someone that you could look at and be like, oh yes, you are someone that has regency in the Seven Kingdoms or the Seven Seas of Atlantis. Someone that could play the queen but also be her own hero next to Aquaman. And for Mera, I cast Emilia Clarke. I very much love Emilia Clarke in a majority of the stuff she does. I know a lot of the stuff near the end of Game of Thrones, not a lot of people had a lot of positive things to say, but I really did enjoy Emilia Clarke throughout all of Game of Thrones. I think Emilia Clarke is a really great actress, and I really think she would do great in this role. In fact, around the time when Aquaman and the Lost Kingdom was coming out, I was thinking Emilia Clarke could be a really good replacement if they wanted to for Mera, but ultimately that didn't happen. But yeah, Emilia Clarke in my casting is Mera. And the final one is Nudis Volko, and everyone knows Volko in the original Aquaman movie that came out in 2018. Willem Dafoe played the character, and Volko would again serve as that role, sort of like the mentor figure to Aquaman, very much serving as the, hey, if you need guidance, I will give you this guidance, because that's very much his character, someone that is willing to give guidance and advice and mentorship to Aquaman. And for Volko, I cast Jeffrey Wright. I think Jeffrey Wright is an amazing actor. I think very much when you look at him, you look at someone who is a wise character, someone that could give wisdom to the major character, to the main character, and I think he is also someone that if you hear him say something, you're going to believe it 100%. You're not going to question it, you're not going to doubt it, you're going to hear his advice and you're going to be like, yep, I agree with you 100%. And I think Volko needs that type of energy where you look at him and you can just agree with everything he says, no matter what it is. So Jeffrey Wright is Volko. And now we're moving over to the last film that will be discussed in this video of the two films, which is The Atom. And The Atom in my version is very much going to be focusing on Ryan Choi's Atom, because I wanted to continue sort of do the thread that they did in the Ant-Man movie where Scott Lang was Ant-Man instead of Hank Pym, and for this one Ryan Choi would be our main Atom instead of Ray Palmer. And for Ryan Choi, I cast Ki-Hung Lee from the Maze Runner movies. I think seeing himself in Maze Runner shows that he is able to do the action elements, because Maze Runner is very much an action-based series, and so you need to be able to have that action-based like background, and I think Ki-Hung Lee could do really great, is really good in that essence. Also, I just think that he could be a very good sort of scientist, a young professor, because that's very much Ryan Choi. He's the young professor. He is like the youngest professor at the university that he teaches at, and I think Ki-Hung Lee would do a really great job as Ryan Choi, aka The Atom. Next up is Kendra Saunders, and I know a lot of people are wondering, hey, why Kendra Saunders? Why is why is Hawk Girl in this film? And that is because she's not Hawk Girl yet. I am very much doing something similar to the Ant-Man and the Wasp, where Hope Van Dyne is in the film, but she's not the Wasp yet, and so I'm doing that with here, where Kendra Saunders is in this film. We will set her up. She will be a major supporting character in this film in particular, which would set up her eventually becoming Hawk Girl in a sequel to The Atom. So for Kendra Saunders, I cast Alicia Vikander. Alicia Vikander, best known for her performance as Lara Croft in the 2018 Tomb Raider movie, and I think Alicia Vikander did an amazing job in that film. Like, she was not someone that was looked down at. She can do action, she can play elegance with The Danish Girl, where she was able to play an elegant character and someone being able to be soft and have that kindness to her, and I do think she would do a very great job in this film. So Alicia Vikander as Kendra Saunders. Next up, one of the main supporting characters, Panda Potter, who is a part of a sort of fraternity that Ryan Choi is a part of, that is very much meant to help Ryan do his superheroics. At least when the early runs of Ryan Choi's Atom comic run, he was a part of that team, and the team is mainly a Panda Potter, Thomas Dewana, Professor Martin Campbell, and Professor Helmand Kettering. And those four professors very much were the ones that were like, hey, we're gonna help Ryan do all the heroics he needs to. And for Panda Potter, I cast Cooper Andrews. Cooper Andrews is best known for being the dad in the Shazam movies, and I just very much enjoyed him in those movies. I think he did a very great job playing that father figure, and in this version, he would be playing like sort of the best friend of Ryan Choi. And I think Cooper Andrews, he was such a delight to see him in those movies, and so I would love to see him sort of continue to play that sort of character. He would be, the best way I can describe it is he would be the Luis character, where he's the best friend and also just trying his best to help his friend. So Cooper Andrews is Panda Potter. Next up is Thomas Dewana, again another member of the fraternity that is helping Ryan. And for Thomas, I cast Daniel Kaluuya, and I really wanted Daniel Kaluuya in the DC universe, and I think he would do a great job being able to play sort of the more serious character in the team, being like, hey, I don't know if this is gonna work, but then like finding a way to make it work. And I think Daniel could do a very great job playing sort of the character was like, hey, I don't know if this is gonna work, but I'll find a way to make it work. I think Daniel is gonna do a great job in that role. So Daniel Kaluuya as Thomas Dewana. Next up is Professor Martin Campbell, one of the older professors of the four, and he is someone that when I saw his comic image, and the one that's over here, he's mainly in a chair, so I don't know if he's wheelchair bound. But whenever I saw him, I was like, he looks like one actor in particular, and I want this actor in something. So for Professor Martin Campbell, I cast Paul Giamatti. Paul Giamatti is one of my favorite actors. I love almost not everything he's in, but whenever he's in something, he is someone that I tend to look more positively in, except for The Amazing Spider-Man 2. Sorry, Paul, you shouldn't have played the Rhino. But I really enjoy Paul Giamatti as an actor, and I really do see him being someone that could be sort of the character that's like, hey, look, I'm all for it, let's do it, sort of that person that's probably being told, hey, we shouldn't go all the way into it, let's not go head first, and he's like, no, let's go head first, let's go into it. And I think Paul Giamatti could do a really great job in that role. So for Professor Martin Campbell, I cast Paul Giamatti. Next up is Professor Helmand Kettering, who is another one of the senior professors that is assisting Ryan Choi. And for Professor Helmand Kettering, I cast Bruce Greenwood. Bruce Greenwood, best known for being the voice of Batman in Batman Under the Red Hood and in the Young Justice series. Bruce Greenwood, again, another favorite actor of mine. I love seeing him in a lot of stuff, and like, if you haven't seen The Fall of the House of Usher, he's amazing in it, and I think that he would do a great job as being sort of the one person that's not hesitant to help out at first, but sort of be the one that's like, okay, let's not do all of this. Like, he's sort of the one that was at first, in my mind, whenever I'm thinking of the story, be like, hey, how about we not do this? How about we not try to do this? But the main entire point is that Ryan and the team are trying to find Ray Palmer. They got a transmission that he was stuck in the microverse, so all of them are working together to try to find Ray Palmer. And so that's sort of the thing that grabs him into it and sort of pulls him to help. So yeah, I think Bruce Greenwood could do a really great job. So for Professor Helmand Kettering, I cast Bruce Greenwood. Next up is Amanda Turner. She's sort of serving as the ex-wife character from Ant-Man, the Scott Lang's ex-wife. But instead of them actually being formally married in this universe, it's an ex-girlfriend that is currently dating Panda. And Amanda and Ryan occasionally don't see eye to eye on things because of their tenuous relationship, but ultimately in the end they do find common ground, and Ryan is, again, completely fine that Panda is dating her. But it's just one of those things where Ryan and Amanda are like, I don't know, like that sort of relationship. And for Amanda Turner, I cast Kaya Scudelario. I'm having a hard time pronouncing her last name because I've never actually had to pronounce it out loud before. I've only ever seen it read. And she's also in The Maze Runner, and so that's another connection right there. And I think she's a really great actor. She's a fun actress. I think she does a really great job in the roles that she does, and I think that she would do a really great job as Amanda Turner. I think this would even allow her to have more fun, since this would be a role where she would be able to do a little bit more comedy. And I look at the Atom as sort of the comedy of this DCCU. I don't see it being taken like super seriously, sort of like Ant-Man. Ant-Man's a comedy, and so the Atom would be a comedy. So she would be allowed to stretch her acting muscles a little bit more. So for Amanda Turner, Kaya Scudelario. I'm butchered it again. But next up is Dean Mayland. Dean Mayland is a character in the comics that very much hates the Atom, does not like the Atom at all, and so I just thought it'd be fun for this character to cast Jeff Goldblum. I think Jeff Goldblum is an amazing actor, and I think he would have so much fun being the one person in the film to be like, I hate the Atom. He's not a bad guy, he's not the main antagonist, but he's a character that's like, I hate the Atom. I think if I see the Atom, we should not help him whatsoever, and I think Jeff Goldblum would have fun doing that. So for Dean Mayland, I cast Jeff Goldblum. Also, Dean Mayland is the dean of the university that all the professors work at. Next up is sort of the Hank Pym character, not Ray Palmer. It would be Al Pratt, the original Atom from the Justice Society, and this is just the first hint of what I'm going to be doing in the future. But we wouldn't mention the Justice Society in this film. We were just meant Al Pratt would just mention that he helped Ray Palmer when Ray was first starting as a hero and assisting him in some of the stuff that he was doing, but ultimately just someone that used to take the name of the Atom at one point, but he never would go deeper into that, never talk more about his backstory. And for Al Pratt, I cast Richard Dreyfuss. Richard Dreyfuss is a fun actor. He's a great actor. I love him in Jaws, and I think he would do a great job as Al Pratt, sort of very much playing the character of, hey, look, I don't know, Ryan, if you should be doing this, but Ray isn't here, so you're sort of the only person that can replicate his technology, so you're the only person I can look to help. Also, if you have questions, just ask, because I can try to help. And I would very much see Al and Kendra being two people that were connected to each other, because Kendra is connected to someone else that was in the Justice Society at one point, and so that would be the connection there. And so yeah, that's very much, I think Al Pratt would be played greatly by Richard Dreyfuss. And finally, it's time for the main antagonist. It is Silbert Rudin, aka Dwarf Star. Dwarf Star would be someone that was a student of Ray Palmer. He would find a way to replicate the shrinking technology, and once Silbert discovers that Ryan also can replicate it, his one goal would be to kill the Atom. And so Dwarf Star, as Dwarf Star, he would be trying to kill the Atom. They would have micro fight scenes. They would have fight scenes when they were big and normal size, small, like throughout that. And for Dwarf Star, I cast Ben Foster. Why? Because I love Ben Foster. I think Ben Foster is a great actor, an amazing character actor, an amazing supporting actor, and someone that deserves to be a main cast member or like a leading actor at some point. And I just think Ben Foster is one of the most underrated actors for a good bit. So I think Ben Foster could do a great job sort of playing the main antagonist of this film, and I just want to see it. So Ben Foster as Dwarf Star. And that is it for part 6 and for phase 2 of this casting. That was Justice League Panic in the Sky and the Atom. So what were your thoughts on all these castings? I really do like to know. But before I go into the outro of this film, just wanted to let you all know that I'm going to be taking a break from the fan casting videos. We will still have a video next week, but it will not be a fan casting video because there are still some castings in Phase 4 that I still need to do. I still need to do some fan castings for the Phase 4 stuff. But For the next week video, I'm going to be doing another Pitch This, but actually pitching an idea, and it's based off of a video that I saw at Comic Pop Returns, their Elseworld Exchange series. They did a video about pitching their Spider-Man 98, which is similar to X-Men 97, which would be similar to X-Men 97, I mean, and just their revival of the 90s Spider-Man show. And so, for me next week, I'm going to be pitching what I would do for the Spider-Man revival show, at least the first season only, because I wouldn't know what to do for season 2. I just have a clear idea of what I would do for season 1. So yeah, Spider-Man 98 will be next week's video, and then after that we'll go back to the fan casting videos. I just really wanted to get that Spider-Man 98 video in a video because I really just, it's been running in my brain for a while and I just wanted to get it made. But with all that being said, what were your thoughts on the casting choice? Did you like them? Did you hate them? Were you indifferent to them? Whatever your thoughts, post them in the comments down below. Also, again, don't forget to hit the like button and subscribe to the channel. That way you can be up to date to all the videos I have here on the channel. Also, hit the notification bell. That way you can be notified whenever a new video like this comes your way. But until then, I've been Mr. EliMac. You have been the audience, and I hope you all have a great rest of the day.